welcome to another episode of Let's Be Frank. I'm Alex Ellis from Left Lane TV, and today I'm here with John Hannon. John, good to see you, sir.
Good to see you. How are you?
So John and I, we met back in, originally on the Route 66 tour. Okay, you're gonna have to forgive us. There is a Dodge drifting experience right next door, so it's gonna be pretty loud. So John and I met on the Route 66 cruise in summer of 2018, and we also met up again recently for the Summer Nights cruise in Somerset, Kentucky. So John, what did you bring to the show today? What do you got
This
here?
is my 2001 Bullitt edition Ford Mustang GT. It's actually one of only 4 that were produced for the Steve McQueen estate when Ford initially made the contract to build a special Bullitt edition Mustang GT. So as part of that contract, paying Warner Brothers, they had to pay the McQueen family, and then as part of that package, the McQueen family received 4 special Bullits that are serialized McQueen 1 through McQueen 4.
Okay.
So it's a very rare car. It's rarely been to any shows or anything, and I've had it for almost 16 years.
Really, that long?
That long. So
that would have been around what year?
It was about 2003. I was deployed.
Shortly after these came out.
Right, very shortly. I always wanted one. I knew when they were coming out, but I was an active duty Army officer. So 9/11 happened, and deployments started picking up, and I was one of the lucky winners of many deployments.
Wow.
So the dream of buying one went out the window. I discovered the Inbox Bullitt Owners Forum, joined up, and I used my screen name as Just One Bullet. You know, it's my Army sniper training, Just One Bullet is what our motto is. Plus, I said I need just one bullet to make me happy.
Yeah.
And I was on the search for a clean, low mileage one. And then as I got to know some of the bullet heads on the forum, Dennis Shaw, the police chief out in McPherson, Kansas, sent me a link saying, if you're after a low mileage bullet, you should buy this one. I said, what is it? He says, it's McQueen 4, da da da.
Yeah.
And I said, well, there's so much fakes out there. How do I know it's authentic? So he linked me up with Mr. T, as he's known, Nick Turgis of Ford, who controlled all the VIN numbers for these special edition Mach 1s and Bullitt cars. And I sent him an email, told him what I was trying to do. He said, send me the VIN of the car and I'll verify for you that it is in fact a McQueen car.
Sure.
And instantly he wrote back. He said, that's absolutely one of the cars that was given to the McQueen family. So if you can buy it, jump on it with both feet and never look back. So that's kind of what I did. And initially when I contacted the broker for the McQueen family to buy it, I was told, sadly, it was already sold. Oh. So I said, why don't normal guys like me ever get a chance to buy something that's that neat, you know? Well, we can't disclose his name. He's a collector out of Colorado.
Sure.
It may have been Clyde Pussler, I don't know. But I said, well, has he given you any deposit yet or paid for the car? Well, no, but we have no reason to believe he would not do that. I said, well, here's my offer. I'll pay asking price right now and wire you the money today. I'm a serious buyer. Well, we appreciate that, but it's already sold. We're going to honor that system. I said, well, if he flakes out for any reason, please call me immediately. So sure enough, about a month later, I get a phone call in the middle of the night as I'm in a hotel room looking out the window at another 01 Bullitt that I bought, number 1750 from Canada.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, man, I love that Bullitt car. I'm so happy I got one now. Phone rings. I don't recognize the number. Is this John Hannon? I said, yes, it is. Well, you're not going to believe this, but this is Chad Logan. I'm the McQueen family, you know, go-between for you. I said, yeah, I remember you. He goes, well, you were right about that prospective buyer. Not only has he flaked out, he won't return emails, won't return phone calls, he's not sent any money. So we talked to Nell McQueen. She knows your story, that you're active duty military. She wants you to have the car. So she said, you know, I'll get her to lower the price for you. I said, well, that's great, because I'm going to need a lower price because I just bought this other Bullitt here, and I'm going to have to finance this big time. So luckily, I called USAA Federal, which caters to the military. I got a Steve McQueen fan on the phone, and he said, man, Major Hannon, we have to get this car for you. Hang on, let me get a supervisor. So the supervisor said, okay, that's such a rare car, we're going to amortize it like a home mortgage for you. I said, perfect, I don't care, whatever it takes. So I got the funding secured. I flew out to Beverly Hills, saw the car, test drove it in Beverly Hills, and pretty much bought it on site. It had less than 300 actual miles on it at that time.
Really? Wow. And you said there's only four of these, right?
Only 4
and
were
each one of them went to one of the McQueen
right.
family. Do you happen to know which one?
I'm not positive, but I believe number 1 was owned by Chad McQueen. Number 2 was his widow, Neil McQueen, and then number 3 may have been for his granddaughter, Molly, or grandson, Chase. I don't know for sure.
Okay.
And then 4, when they got the 4th Bullitt with the McQueen moniker, they agreed, let's sell it at auction for one of Steve McQueen's favorite charities.
Oh.
So they did, and one of the McQueen attorneys was smart enough to buy it at that auction. And he kept it in the basement of his condominium in Beverly Hills.
Okay.
But he wasn't a car guy, if you know what I mean. So
yeah.
it started getting cobwebs on it. He didn't know about fuel stabilizer, all that good stuff. So I told him, I know all that stuff, and I will take care of that car properly and keep it just like it is now. So that resonated with them, and they wanted it to go to a good home. So I bought it from there. I paid to ship it in an enclosed trailer to my home in Fishers, Indiana, and a local Ford dealer was all excited. They helped me. They said, feel free to use our parking lot to take delivery. And so it was pretty awesome. They stored it for me. Because I was in Baghdad when I actually made the purchase.
Really?
So I had to get leave. I still have my approved leave form to fly home to LA and conceal the deal. And the rest was history. So once I finished the deployment, I was happy. I had this in my garage.
Perfect. Okay. So then, what made you decide to try and put this car in the auction? I mean, to me, it seems like a no-brainer, but...
Well, when I bought it, I had zero intention of ever selling it.
Yep.
Bought it. It's truly my dream car. I'm a huge Steve McQueen fan. But as I got to know Sean Kiernan and listened to his story about, it's an awesome car. I never wanted to sell it either, but it's a heck of a responsibility, borderline burden.
Sure.
And it resonated with me. I worry every time I take the car out of the garage, is something going to happen to it? Is it going to get rained on? Because none of that's ever happened.
Oh, wow.
I worry about it being stolen. I insure it for gobs of money, and I've been doing that for almost 20 years now.
Okay.
I told my wife, I said, I'm retired from the military now. Life changes. I have other pursuits I'd like to do, and I feel like I'm hoarding the car. So if there's a fan out there or a museum that would like to have it, that's truly, I think, where it belongs.
Yeah, definitely.
And we don't have any children, so I don't have anybody to will it to or leave it to. So we thought, the timing's everything. This auction here, Mecum, I mean, they're one of the iconic car auction places now.
Yep.
And if Sean trusted Dana Mecum and family to do that car,
the hero car,
I can trust him for mine. So we're giving it a go. I put a big reserve on the car to help protect it. The wife's on board.
You mind if I ask what the reserve is?
Yeah, I'm not disclosing the reserve just because I don't want the word to get out and discourage potential buyers.
Yeah,
I mean, we'll let the auction kind of tell the story, and I'll share what the reserve was
perfect, no
later
problem.
on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And now, is this the only Bullitt you have? Because I want to say you got an 08 or 09 too, right?
Yeah, I have another 01, because as I told you the story, when this was not available, I bought the next cleanest one-owner, low-mileage Bullitt I could find. It was number 1750, and ironically, it came from Florida.
Yep.
Bought it, drove it home. That car is still sitting on its original tires. It has maybe 12,000 actual miles on it, and that kind of sunk in too. I told my wife, I said, I have a hard time driving my cars to put even 100 miles a year on them. I have so many, and my other Bullitt's kind of sitting around. It's time to put new tires on it, start driving it more.
Okay.
So I'm definitely keeping that one forever. I'll always have an 01 model Bullitt, no matter what. In 08, I bought it brand new. I ordered it from Ford in between deployments again. Okay. It's dark Highland green. I took it on that Route 66 tour. Love that car as well. I have a 68 movie replica Mustang. I do.
I don't remember seeing that. That must be in one of your
it's in one of my separate garages. One of my many garages. And
okay.
I would like to get a 19 someday.
That was my next question. So, if you got your eyes set on a 19?
If the wife approves, I will have a 19 these days.
Okay. So,
and I'd really like to have the Steve McQueen edition.
That was my next question.
So,
all right.
Yeah, that's my goal. I don't want to settle for anything less. And with the sale of this, it might help to make that come to fruition.
Sure.
So it'd be neat. Cool. And then I will drive that car and enjoy it.
All right. So how long have you been here at the auction? Because today is January 8th?
I believe it is,
January 8th.
Yep, and been here since New Year's Day, January 1st.
Have you really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, I drove up with my buddy Dennis Shaw. We did a road trip from Indiana to here on New Year's Eve.
Okay.
We stayed at an Air Force base in the middle of nowhere, Tennessee, and just enjoyed a nice quiet evening, got up early and finished the drive.
Okay.
So it was a good time.
All right, obviously you had this trailered then.
Yes, I paid Mecum to ship it in their enclosed trailer, because then they're responsible for it, they insure it, etc.
Sure, okay.
So it just felt a lot safer using them instead of hitting the Yellow Pages or Hemmings Motor News.
Yeah, definitely. So hopefully, if all goes well, you'll have this car auctioned off and a new happy owner of this car. Do you have any intentions at all of perhaps bidding on something?
No, and I promised the wife I wouldn't do that. So I would have to have pre-approval in order to do that.
Yeah, okay.
But of course, the temptation is certainly there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's almost 4,000 cars here.
Yeah.
So if you can't find something that trips your trigger, you need to have your pulse checked.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a great.
I take it you've gotten a chance to walk around and take a look at some of the cars.
I have, yes.
What are a couple just off the top of your head that you've seen that you really stuck out to you?
I'm a 69-70 Chevelle guy. And Le Mans Blue is my favorite color, and as you see behind us, directly across, I mean, what's the irony of that? Is a car almost exactly the way I would want it.
Yeah.
I haven't told the wife that yet, so we will see.
All right.
There's several 70 Chevelles here I really like.
Okay.
There's a very rare Chrysler leather car, convertible. It's a 62 model.
Okay.
So just enjoy looking at those cars.
Yeah.
And, seeing them here.
I know you like your big, beady Oldsmobiles and stuff, right?
Yeah,
You haven't
Cadillacs,
seen anything like that around here?
Not really. Those cars are getting to be more rare.
Probably more muscle and stuff here, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the 80s cars are kind of becoming hot now, and there were not one but two Oldsmobile 98 Regencies, of which, as you know, I have over a dozen of them at home because I grew up with those cars. I was in high school. My parents owned them. Well, lo and behold, two very low mileage examples are here. Both of them are 1984 models, which I own several of. The first one sold, it was very low mileage, 19,000 miles, for over $20,000. I want to say $23,000. So that's big money for those cars now. You used to be able to get them all day for under 10, and now you're over 20. The second one just sold yesterday. It's an identical color to one I own. It had 25,000 actual miles on it, and it sold for $20,500. I mean, it just was on fire on stage. I was shocked. But it's good to see. It's good news for me. I told the wife, hey, see, I wasn't an idiot buying all these Oldsmobiles that, are a dime a dozen or were back in the day.
They're appreciating.
They've appreciated now.
That's great.
People are willing to pay good money for a clean model.
Those are good, comfy cars,
Very
too.
comfy, yeah, great road cars.
Yeah.
So I'll always have a few of those, the Grandpa Cruisers.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I mean, I own two Grand Marquis and a Marauder, so
and a Marauder.
I'm right in the same alley there.
Yeah.
So do you have any other plans when you're in Kissimmee here, as far as, are you going to any
Not
parks,
really.
or?
My biggest worry, if you will, here we go back to kind of the responsibility for a car like this. Trying to keep an eye on the car. If it does not sell, the bid goes on, it'll stay here. And I'm working with fellow Bullittheads that are local to have them store the car for me if it does not sell.
Perfect.
And I'll wait for winter to end in Indianapolis. I'll fly out again, and I'll probably drive this car home.
Okay, cool.
As a reward to myself for keeping it.
Yeah, totally. All right. And so I know a couple months back when we met in Somerset,
Right.
you got a chance to watch Let's Be Frank, the full feature documentary.
Yes.
Can you just share your thoughts, feelings about that?
Yes, it was extremely well done. You talked to some really iconic car collectors, specifically Bullittheads, of course, which was really good. It had good content. It's truly a car guy's kind of a documentary, if you will. And we really enjoy it, and we're glad you did it, and that you're sharing it with the car community. I think that's awesome.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. One last thing before we go here. Do you have any plans on going to the next big Bullitthead meetup? I think we're doing Pontiac, Illinois.
Pontiac, Illinois. I hope to be there for a couple of days.
Yeah, you're going?
Yeah, I've got some other stuff going on. I can't do the whole thing, but I'm going to try to do part of it at least.
Okay,
That's close.
Do you have anything else you'd like to share with us today, John?
No, I just appreciate your time, and thanks for coming out and for your interest in the McQueen 4 car.
Okay, cool.
Kind of nervous, hopefully that it goes to a good home. The good home is more important to me than the amount of money, quite honestly, at the end of the day. So,
yeah, that definitely is.
Hoping and praying that it works out for the best.
Yeah, and then, sorry, actually one last thing.
Sure.
The hero car, Sean Kiernan's 68 Bullitt, is going to be auctioned off tomorrow.
Right.
How much do you personally think that car is going to go for?
Well, that's a perennial question, of course, that's on everyone's mind.
Yes, that's the question.
Throughout the car media. I would really hazard to guess at what it might be. I certainly think it'll bring between at least $3 to $5 million, but it could go for 4 times that even. You know, I mean, it's such an iconic car. It was Steve McQueen's iconic movie.
Yep.
And when you think of Steve McQueen, you think of that car. That chase scene is one of the best. It's always been voted the best top chase scene ever. The reality of it, you know, the visceral, the effects. I mean, it's most car guys remember it from when they were knee-high to a grasshopper to now. And you look around at the demographic, the age bracket of the people that car resonates with, the movie and the actor.
Yeah, it's pretty wide
so
now.
It really is.
Yeah.
So you know, the sky is the limit, really, with that. So
definitely.
I wish Sean and his family all the best, and I hope they get as much as possible for it, and also that it winds up in a good home.
Sure, yeah, definitely.
So we'll see. It'll be an exciting day tomorrow.
Certainly will. I can't wait for it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your
absolutely.
time, John.
Yeah, you bet. Good
Really
to see you, Alex.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
It's good to
you
see
bet.
you.
Good to see you too.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
That's a 1958 Lincoln Continental. Super cool car. I love that the hood opens up this way instead of traditional. Very cool. It's so bizarre that 68 KR Shelby has an automatic transmission. Wouldn't have guessed. I found my new camera, the Ford Model T Kodak. Room apparently has a lot of the good toys. Right to my side there, you can see I believe that is a Ford GT modeled after the ones in the late 60s, but that's actually a new one. I think Shelby just started production of a handful of these, I don't know what they call it, MK3, MK1, MK2 GT40s that they were producing in the 60s. They did that after the Ford v Ferrari movie came out in theaters. So that's a super cool car that's being cock-blocked. And that car right there, that is a 1967 Shelby GT500 Eleanor kit on it. So that very well could be a car from Gone in 60 Seconds. I know they have at least 2 cars just like that. That one might actually be a car that was used in the movie, or it might just be a resto mod. I'm not sure which. Very cool nonetheless. What do you think? Blue or black? This one's a new one. That's like a 17. That's older. That'd be like an 06. There we got another 06. Well, that's this is just my opinion, but Paul Rocha, if you're watching this, pick that color.
How much do you think it's going to
7 million. That's what I'm guessing. 7 mil.
course of the evening, we're going to have dinner. Sean and Ken are going to throw a little special on the TV for us. Depending on how it goes, we've got a little video of kind of the evolution of the group dating back to about 2002 and worked our way up to now.
Paul, the statue hadn't blown on some of that stuff.
So I didn't have a mohawk. Tony Alonso had hair.
I had hair, or more of it.
I think he had a mullet.
There you go. Then a couple people are going to say a few things.
90 seconds or less.
Yeah. Unfortunately, most of us flew down, so our typical massive raffle table is significantly smaller, but we got some really cool stuff there. Most of you know Tony Alonso has written a couple of books. Well, he's written one. He's got another one coming out. He's asked for a few minutes to discuss it. To talk about his upcoming book. So,
And go.
all right.
Timer. Start the timer.
All right, take some
Time's up.
pictures. 87. Hand those out.
80.
Yeah, 20 seconds to hand out. So I want to let you know that I actually have a great team of folks helping me. Thank you. And I want to identify Brad Bowling real quickly as one of them. In July, did you hear the music? Thank you, I heard the music. In July, this book is going to go on sale. It's called Mustang Bullitt Generation. Thank you. It's about all, you're fine. It's about all three of the Ford cars, but we're going to weave in some stories about the the Big Papa car and why the Big Papa car's done what it's done for us as Bullittheads. Last thing I want to say real quickly is you guys are the first ones who are seeing the cover art. This is actually going to be the cover of the book. So if you have any questions or have any information about this book, you can go to that website, sign up for the mailing list. Last thing is, through the gracious support of Hoondog Performance Group, the on-sale date will actually be the Saturday at the Bullitt National. So that will be the first time that the book is actually available to the public who has not ordered it ahead of time. So I just want to say, for those of you who have helped me out by submitting your Bullitt stories and by the fantastic help I've been getting from the folks that I've interviewed, both at Ford and not at Ford, everybody connected with this, hopefully you'll grab onto this book and consider it a part of your Bullitt history collection. So thank you for the little longer than 90 seconds. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Also, John Clore is going to say a few things. He probably won't hear the wrap-up from the Oscars thing like Tony did, but that's a bit of an inside joke. And and lastly, Matt, who's local to here, would also like to come up and say a few words, and then we'll get rolling on dinner.
I want to welcome you all, and I want to put a big shout out. I am blessed by having the Central Florida and Florida Bullittheads, Brian and Ed and Rich and a few others. We've had tremendous experiences, and some of them have been through the Mustang Club here, the Mid-Florida Club, of which Joe Rodriguez and Tina Hill are our guests here tonight. And like all of you, we've enjoyed the cars, but we've enjoyed the people. To see you all, even though I can't recognize your faces sometimes, and I forget your names, I remember you from some of the nationals. In closing, I want to make a statement. We do not have the most powerful Mustang, do we? We don't have the coolest looking Mustang that would turn a pimple-faced teenager to look at it and say, wow. We don't have the fastest Mustang. But God damn it, we got the coolest Mustang, don't we?
Okay, I'm Rich Nelson. I'm part of the Florida group and that, the Bullittheads and that. And Saturday we're going to have, as part of Hoondogs, a tour out to the Kennedy Space Center, leaving from the hotel here. I have a set of directions. There's some information in here. Number one is the tickets are going to be full price tickets, and it's $8 worth of tolls along the road. It's all in here, but just so you kind of get a level of whether you want to do this or not. But I'm ex-NASA, retired NASA, so it gives me the ability to tell everybody what we did.
You couldn't ask for a better person to lead us around.
Where?
Other than Maryland. Right, Maryland?
Back in the corner there, Matt wanted me to tell you that we have a display of memorabilia that we've collected. It's Matt and mine and maybe some others that are unique to Bullitt. So enjoy.
Thanks.
Thank you.
It's my wife Shelley, and I'm Kevin Marty. We're the people that run the Marty Auto Works, the company that Ford licensed to archive all of their production records. And we have the privilege of producing all these Marty reports. And if you've ever seen our elite report, we have this special blue mat that we use. It's kind of, the Ford blue. It's that idea. And we decided that we wanted to do something special for Sean and Sam and for the Bullitt car. And so what we're here to do is present this special version.
No, it's great. I absolutely love it. And the thing is yesterday I had to look up a Marty report, so on my car because I'm awesome with numbers. But yesterday was actually the 52nd birthday of my car. I was born January 8th, 1968.
How about that?
Wow.
I unveiled in Detroit 6 days after, and then here is 2 days after. So it's all about numbers. It's all about January, and here we go.
Yep. Now we wanted to mention that I guess there's going to be a raffle. You guys are going to be doing a raffle. We're going to be contributing
One Marty report?
One Marty elite report.
Ooh, an elite report.
Yeah, for this. You can either have it for this car or for any 67 to 86, which of course precludes all of you Bullitt owners.
But
that's on
coming.
purpose.
It's up and coming.
See, there's only one Bullitt owner that can get an elite report. Well, there's sort of two, but the other car.
Exactly.
Kind of, sort of. Although in the future, we are actually working with the company that produces Ford's window stickers, and we're going to be able to have the capability of producing elites for the 87 and laters. That's coming up hopefully sometime in 2020. In the meantime, we really appreciate Sean just sitting up here while we advertise the hell out of it.
Absolutely.
Seconds, John. I'm talking.
Sorry.
No, we're gonna get.
When John Clore steps up to the front of the room, that's when everybody heads for the bathroom.
John gets 180 seconds.
Everyone's bathroom break. There goes Donald. Oh, ye of weak bladders, go ahead. Just folks, first of all, I just wanted to tell you how honored I am to be here tonight. I know a lot of you are saying, you read FordPerformance.com and the enthusiast section. I know you're all on it. Laney, you know how hard we worked on putting out fast news to, 250,000 people every Thursday. And there are some great writers who volunteered to write this, and I could have it shot and sent to me faster than I can do it. But I had to be here tonight. And the reason I had to be here tonight is because this was a real special moment in Mustang history. So and I just wanted to share with you what happened. So I got a phone call in 2016, out of the blue, like I get a lot of phone calls from a lot of you guys who say, hey, can you match some interior stuff I got for my 66 and find me the original manufacturer? I'm the enthusiast communications manager. I don't work in restoration parts. But so a guy calls me, it looked like an Atlanta number, and he says, hi, you're John Clore? Yes. Listen, I just have something you'd be really interested in, and if you can keep a secret, I have to tell you this. I said, what is it? He said, well, we have the Bullitt. I said, the Bullitt Mustang? Oh yeah, we got the Bullitt Mustang. So I just have to tell you that I've been at Ford 25 years, 10 years at SVT, 10 years at Ford Racing. It's my 5th year at Ford Performance. If I had a nickel for everybody who called me and said that I have the Bullitt,
Oh my God.
I'd have at least $1. Seriously. So but every single time I'm a sucker, and I say, oh, really? And I start talking. Well, I started talking to this guy. And he starts telling me, yeah, we'd like you to. I said, well, why did you get my name? Well, you're the guy to call. We want to work with Ford. And so I said, where is the car? Well, it's down here at our studio, and you got to come and see it. I'm thinking to myself, oh, come on, I just gotta have to go. What if this is the one time that I didn't go, right? So I said, okay, Mr. Horseman, I will do this. I will get down there, but I want to bring down somebody. He said, who's that? So I'm going to call Kevin Marty. Who's Kevin Marty? Well, Kevin Marty's the guy he's got to be here with me. Look, as long as you guys can come, look at this. I'll introduce you to the owner, and you can make your own determination. As long as let's do it. So, call Kevin, and we arrive a couple days later. It wasn't that far down the road where we arrived, and Kevin shows up in a Shelby Hertz car. Awesome sound. I'd show up in a Ford Racing Transit van, which said Team Cobra Jet on the side, which was used to deliver engines to the Cobra Jet factory. What was wrong with that picture? I can't remember who worked at the company. So we walked in there and we got to meet Ken Horseman and Carl Horseman, and we got to see the background of the car and touch the documents, and we kept looking at each other, and the longer we spent time there at the studio at Triple Horse, we started to realize, well, wait a minute, this really could be it. This could be it. So then they did the horrible thing of saying, okay, you want to see it? And of course they raised the curtain, we went back there, and you think once you're over 50, you'd quit acting like a 12-year-old, right?
Nah.
So we didn't bring our packet of pens with us, but we did get to see this car and just get immersed in the car. So it was so special and so unique that I had this thing I had to say to not only the Kiernan family, but also to the Horsemans. It's a great thing, but please just keep it under wraps. What? I know you had all kinds of deals and die casts and cars and movies, cars, all kinds of stuff. But I said, now it's your turn to keep a secret. In 2 years, Ford's going to come out with a Bullitt. If I were you, can't we just hold off on this Bullitt thing until we do a Bullitt? Because if Ford does a Bullitt and then you show the real Bullitt, the two of you together will make history, and like a PR, like you couldn't make PR. Well, to their credit, to their great credit, they did hold off. The reason why it's important that we go tomorrow is that we have to celebrate this, and the reason why I wanted to be here, I wanted to witness it. I was just glad to play whatever role I could to make it all happen.
And me.
And oh yeah. So speaking of that, Paul, I want you to come up here. So for Sean, for Ken Horseman, and come on up here.
Okay. I didn't know if you were
I want to give something to you guys. I had these specially made up for you guys. I want you guys, when you get home after this program's over, this is a Bullitt flag.
All right.
A flag.
Flag.
Yeah, a flag.
We can fly the flag.
You can fly the flag. Here, you open it up.
Is there a
It's really-
maple
it's
leaf
made
on
in
it?
China. I can't.
It looks like a condom. That's why John can't work it.
Yeah, there we go. So this is what and I want you to have one. I want you to have one. You need one. This is what I'm going to give these guys because I think this is what all their work embodies. Hold on to that. So from everybody at Ford, the Hoondog Group, the Bullitt Group, and all of you who celebrated this car for all these years, thank you, because you embody the spirit of the Ford Mustang. No matter what we put a pony on, the point is that you celebrate the cars that you love. And you're right, earlier on, of all the there's been a lot of different Mustangs, but this is the one that really, the passion in here is palpable. And thank you for letting me share it and be part of it.
Thank you.
So I'm Ken Horseman. I'm one of the guys that John was just talking about. And it was kind of strange to contact Ford knowing that their response was just going to be, sure, whatever. And to his credit, he was very optimistic and really positive about it. But I got to say thank you for one huge thing. If you hadn't responded positively, I don't know where we would have been. And I also, one of the first things you did was was introduce us to Kevin and Marty. We didn't know Kevin and Shelley Marty at the time, and that hadn't been on our radar at all. So had you not been positive and then introduced us to the Martys, I don't know that all this would have happened. So thank you. It's a big deal. And the only reason that I reached out to John is because it was probably smarter for the guy that owns the car to not do it. So it was just easy for who's this guy and no one cares who to do it. So it worked out well.
I remember the day because when Ken called me and said you actually responded to the LinkedIn message. Like, is that even a thing still? You were the guy that was,
Yeah, I had to get in my time machine and then go back and send it to LinkedIn, and then he accepted.
But yeah, and it was all a whirlwind from there. So.
I'd like to know about, I read that your dad used it as a daily driver. I'd like to know a little bit about what that was like, if you remember what he told you. Did people come up to him and ask him about the car? Was there anything special at the time that he was getting noticed?
Yeah, absolutely. I love answering that question. The thing is in 1974, I was -7. Let's put that out there. Second thing is that absolutely no one cared that Bullitt was Bullitt in 1974. And I'll tell you this why, 2 reasons. It was for sale a long time in 2 different places, 2 different times for $3,500. My dad bought it for $3,500. I'll put that out right now. You'll also hear that again tomorrow. When it got sold the first time from Robert Ross to Frank, $3,500. No one cared. To the point where Frank would love to tell everybody that he owned Bullitt, and no one cared. My mom actually will always be the person that drove the car the furthest. That'll never change. My mom and dad put 45,000 miles on the car, additional to the 19,000. And yeah, that's probably one of the things I love most about it. My mom is obviously, she was here earlier, she is the original badass. She was a 3rd grade Catholic school teacher. It was her daily driver. My dad was the one on the weekend to drive it, and did he clip a bush every now and again? Yes, of course. There's a lot of gravel on the side of the road in Jersey is what he said. But yeah, no one cared. I mean, he was all over the place with it, right? So, everybody asks and says, I can't believe you did this, I can't believe you did that. Look, everybody had a chance to buy this car, first of all. Second of all, movie cars weren't a thing because Bullitt created it. Right. And you're 6 years out of the movie, all of a sudden it's New Jersey, not California. People see the car as a 68 fastback big block, sees my mom and obviously Scott and Kelly, and they're in the back seat, no seat belts because they're still gaff taped to the floor. And that's it. It's the way times were. And movie cars weren't a thing. And one of the other things I love about it is people say, God, we see the Green Beetle 1,000 times. Not a lot of people had VCRs and DVDs back then and really paying attention to that part of it, and that is why one of the reasons it did get.
And at the time, no one was paying attention.
Yeah, and that's why
because
she
they were
had 30
watching the
hubcaps.
movies. Yeah.
I just want to mention real quick, a lot of things that it's hard for us to understand in 2020 about movie cars and this car being a legend and everything is that, as Sean just touched on, VCRs were not a thing. And if you'll all think back, and a bunch of us in this room are old enough to remember, including myself, when a movie came out in 1968, 1970, you'd see it in the theater, you'd talk about it for a little bit, it would completely and utterly vanish. And then it would show up on TV about 4 years later, and you might see it, all your buddies missed it, big whoop. Nobody's gonna, sit around and talk about this car, and the car was so awesome, where's that car? It's, it's fascinating. So the movie car phenomenon, maybe it started with Bullitt. I mean that's such an iconic, vehicle to talk about. But really, once VCRs came into homes, once you could rent a VCR, I personally rented Bullitt on videotape as my very first movie in 1980 or 81. That's when my family got a VCR. That's when I drove from Amory, Mississippi to Tupelo, Mississippi, and I paid a $75 deposit. That's what we had to do back in those days to rent a VHS. You had to pay for the full thing in case you didn't come back and bring the tape. And I took Bullitt home and I watched it and I watched it and I watched it, and then I took it back and got my money back. But really, again, in '68, you couldn't do that. No one had anything to think about in terms of, we definitely need to save this car. because people are going to watch this. It's going to be seen millions of times. People are going to grow addicted to seeing this car jump all over, San Francisco. And so, two major things happened. The car was awesome. The movie was awesome. But on top of that, technology finally made it where, we hamsters could keep pushing that button that kept getting us the food, over and over again. We can just watch it streaming. We can find it pirated illegally on YouTube. We've got DVDs of it and all that kind of thing. So really, technology, I think, sort of brought us the possibility of the movie car, and that's why it seems weird to us today. But no one thought of this car, or even honestly, the Batmobile from the '66 TV series, or any of those kind of cars, as something that could be either marketed or even sold as replicas until we really got into the '70s. And I think the Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am was really the first time that I can think of that a car company said, okay, somebody wants to put out some replicas of Burt Reynolds' car, sure, go ahead and do that. And people were excited enough to be marketed to for a car for the first time. Sorry I ran long on that. Go ahead.
How much is it worth? Right? So everyone's been asking that. Everybody wants to know it. So I'm asking you now. Let's flip it on you. Right? Everyone's been asking him, what is Bullitt worth? Priceless.
Yeah,
right,
that's exactly what it is.
And your answer is Diane's answer. Yeah. So what else do you have? What's it worth?
3 mil.
3 mil?
10.
10 mil. Okay.
I'm right on the money. Yeah.
Yeah. They're all like pounding their chest. Who knows where it'll go?
I'll give you $4 grand for it right now. I just hope
$4 grand? Yeah. 3,500.
I'll give it $4 grand.
Huh? No, Leno doesn't like celebrity cars. Do you know why Jay Leno doesn't like celebrity cars? Because people want celebrity cars because they want a connection to a celebrity. He doesn't need connections to celebrities. He knows all of them. He can call all of them right this second. Therefore, he does not like celebrity cars.
Yeah, no.
If you take Steve McQueen away, what is it? It's an awesome. Well, but what I'm saying is,
real nice car.
For him, it's still a celebrity.
Right.
Sorry. How about the guy that spends way more time with him than I do? Kevin, what is your perspective on, does Jay want this car?
No, he told Shelley and me he does not buy celebrity cars. And part of it is, yeah, that's true.
He just doesn't.
Yeah, he just doesn't buy celebrity cars.
Yeah, that's the answer.
Yeah.
He just doesn't.
And why would you when you can call any of them at any second? So, anything else? Like what do you really think Bullitt's worth? Even if it's low, yeah.
It was worth me coming back, spending 24 hours at the house after being up in Detroit for 10 days, grabbing the wife and running up to Somerset, Kentucky to see it finally.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, man. I think that's what it's worth to all of us, which is why I'm priceless, and all that stuff makes sense. So we've been working on a documentary for way too long, and it's very long. They just never end. So when we talked with Paul about this, and thank you so much for inviting us and putting this on and making it fun it's cool for us to get back together with the people that just have not only been there since for the whole time, but were there at the beginning. So we were like, why don't we just show a scene tonight? So we're going to show you guys a scene.
Let me say it. Nobody's ever
Yeah, we don't show anybody anything.
Yeah, we're weird about
It's
stuff.
also a house.
We're in the right room. We make documentaries for us to see.
Got to ask you guys.
So you can't
gotta ask
video
you guys
it.
not to shoot.
No video.
And not record.
No mic. No nothing.
Yeah, please don't.
It's all by memory.
What's your biggest fear after the car sale?
That's a good one.
The front left tire pops on the RV on the way home.